Hey guys, it's Penelope in London, and I'm going to look at this. The reason I'm looking at this, I had quite an interesting event that took place for me in the UK today at a particular time. So, what we can do is that what we're looking at with astrology is that what we see on the chart is what generally we are feeling. It's our feeling way through the world and through life. And also, which is very beautiful work with the work of Carl Gustav Jung, and many people know who he is. There was a meme that goes around, or is a meme that goes around, that says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. However, what he actually said of the book Ion, which paragraph 126, because his work is in paragraphs, which is brilliant. He said the psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside as fate. So what we're looking at when we look at astrology is that we're digging in, and then we're making the unconscious conscious. And not a lot of people understand this is what astrology is. It's making the unconscious conscious. It's a really powerful tool. So when you look at the symbolism, like if you see here my chart, what I say is go to AstroSeek. If you go astro forward seek.com, astro, and you can get your own free birth chart here. This is mine. And then below here, this is the transit chart. So you've got on the inner wheel is my natal chart. And then on the outer wheel, the planets in orange, you can see are my transit chart at the 22nd of April. As you would say in America, you'd say April 22, 2021. And it's at 14:43. So that was the transit time. So I wanted to know, I had an event take place that I wanted to look at to see what was going on for me. So if we can see that my moon is 17 degrees up here of the sign of Gemini. I'm Gemini sun and Gemini moon. And the moon is up here. This was, you can see here from, let me just see this. It's 0 degrees. So what I want to see then is if we go down here, we can see that the moon, sorry, I'm going the sun square. We're going the moon square sun. So let me just show you. The moon is squaring my sun. So the moon is squaring my sun. So if we look at my sun is 0 degrees, which would be here, it's a square, absolute square, dead on. So what did that mean for me at that time? Because I was looking at, it was not a small event for me. So when the moon squares the sun in transit, it brings up to the surface any simmering relationship tensions. Some kind of annoyance will keep niggling away at you until you are forced to do something about it. Often the annoyance will come in the form of either a moody or irrational partner, family member, or close friend. And you will have to stop whatever it is you are doing, probably something really important that you really want to finish off. Having gained your attention, the annoying moon squaring your sun, not that the moon is annoying, but it is when it squares the sun, the transit person will then require some conscious effort to understand and placate. By now, it should be dawning on you that your lack of attention that has let things get to this point. The annoying person, could be anybody, loved one, whoever it may be, may simply be reacting to your ignorance or selfishness. If only you had paid attention to the signs along the way, then we can avoid mini crises and things. So for me, it was quite specific. But then what we could do is look further on this chart. So it's not just one thing. If I get my pointer for a minute, here it is. There. All right. So this up here is transposed down here. You've got the Pluto is sextile to my Saturn. It's applying. Pluto is trine to my Mars, applying. So Pluto moves 246 years around the chart. Then we got Neptune is trine in my Neptune. This is really beautiful for me that that's going on. And I've been very blessed that the Pluto is doing some good stuff for me. The next thing is that Saturn is octile, which is a 45. It's a bit of a triggering to Saturn. It's separating. And then I've got Jupiter square to Mars. So all of these things mean something. Mars takes 2 years to move around the chart. So the moon is really swift and quick. So it was quintile to my moon, which is really spiritual when that happened, 72 degrees angle, and it was separating. And the moon was square to my sun, which was separating, which I've just told you about. My sun, or the transit sun, is trioctile to Pluto, but that's moving, so I don't need to be too overly concerned about that. But the moon is the roots. It's can be to do with the womb. It's the sign of Cancer. It rules. The moon is rules the sign of Cancer, so it's our emotions. The sun is just who we are. The most important thing really on an astrology chart would be firstly our rising sign, and then it would be also our moon gets involved there, and then the other planets. The sun is just who we are. It's ourself. It's the center of the center of things. And then what we've got is that the transit aspect to other objects. So the south node, the ascendant, the north node, Chiron, which is the wounded healer. So Pluto is sextiling to my birth Chiron. This is quite beautiful. You can see my Pluto is sextile to my south node. It's trine to my north node. This is a very powerful time for me in my life because Pluto takes 245 years around the chart. So Pluto, is only going to do this to me for this period of time, but it's a slow transit, which means that it's really pushing me forward in my career and my life. And it's separating, but Pluto is just about to go retrograde now for 5 months on the 27th of this month. We've also got a full moon coming up in the sign of Scorpio at 7 degrees. So if we look back at this chart, the full moon's going to be here for me. So then I would look at what is happening in my 12th house. The moon would, what the moon is rules the 4th house as well. So I would look to the 4th house in my chart. It's very complex, but beautiful. And then the transit, what we would look at if we go down, that the sun, this is if you look on AstroSeek and you look at your transits, this is what I'm showing you. The sun is currently transiting in my 5th house. The ruler of my sun is in the ruler is the 9th house for me. So if you look at my chart, my 9th house is Leo, and it rules in part my 8th and 9th. Okay, this is really good to know. Then go down again, and we've got the moon is currently going through, the moon is in transit in my 9th house here, and it's basically, again, it rules the sign. My moon is ruled by Cancer. Sorry, Cancer is my 8th house, and the moon is ruling my 8th house. So we begin to look really deeply into these things. I would say that also, if you look at the outer planets, you're going to get a lot of information from the outer planets because the personal planets move really quick. If we look at the moon, it's 28 days around the chart. The sun is a year around the chart. We've got Venus is 224 days around the chart. Mercury is 88 days around the chart. And then we would look at Mars is 2 years. So Mars it's our impulsiveness. It's our warrior. It's also warrior in that, we basically the libido, not just the sexual libido, but the libido of the psyche. It's part unconscious because that's our impulsiveness. And Pluto is the unconscious, and Mars will help to make conscious the unconscious. What we're going to do now is look here. You would see that you've got my birth date, then you've got the transit up here. So you see the sun, my birth is 00 here, 16 of Gemini. The sun today is 2 degrees of Taurus. The moon my moon is 17 degrees of Gemini, but the moon right now is 0 degrees of Virgo. So my Mercury is 23 degrees of Taurus, but Mercury right now is 6 degrees of Taurus, and Venus is in Aries for me at 18 degrees, but the Venus right now is in its home sign of Taurus. Yeah. So if we looked at Pluto, my Pluto is in Virgo, but Pluto right now is 26 degrees of Capricorn. It's going to go retrograde. Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008, which was the beginning of the breakdown of patriarchal rule. We're seeing Pluto come to its last phases of being in the sign of Capricorn. And America, you guys, if you're listening out there, are having your Pluto return at 27 degrees. So it's a really, vital time for America at this time with the Pluto return. So now what I'm going to do is share my screen and show you something else. Let me show you here, new share. I'm going to go to this emanated page. So I've put the sun on here. I'm going to take this spotlight off and bring it back on. The sun is currently 2 degrees. I put the sun on the as the rising here, just for today, just because I wanted to. The sun is on the rising, and we can see that it's 2 degrees of Taurus here, and that Pluto, if we look, I'm going to show you it go retrograde. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just moving something here. So if you look at Pluto currently, and we look at Pluto in the sign of Capricorn at 26 degrees, I'm going to show you, you're going to see an R appear here that's going to show you that it's going to go retrograde. So we're going to go days ahead, because when it does this, it's going to do it for 5 months. I'll make another video on this Pluto going retrograde in a few days, but watch. We got 26. I'm going days ahead. There you go. It stations on the 27th at, this is UK time, 27th at 5 p.m. You can see just here. So then you'll see days ahead, then it's stationed, and then it's retrograde. And this basically stations retrogrades, and this is the 29th. I won't know the exact minute unless I play with minutes, but I won't mess around with that right now. I hope this is really useful to you. I was born with Pluto retrograde. I'm going to show you how you can see that on your chart. Let me do this. So you can see, and then that will be for 5 months that Pluto will be retrograde. So it's good to know that it's going to go back and then it's going to go forward. So for instance, when I showed you that it's trining my North Node, you want to look at what Pluto's doing in your chart, because Pluto is what's unconscious being made conscious, which is the words of Carl Jung. The psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside as fate. This is what Pluto does. And it happens in various ways. It's nothing to fear. I'm going to go you back to this. So what you can see here is that my Pluto is at birth is on my MC with Uranus. And what happens is that Pluto is transiting here. You can see this, and that the Pluto is trine to my North Node, which is up here, 25 degrees. We can see that Pluto is 26, and that Pluto will go retrograde. So it's going to be hovering in a beautiful trine with my North Node for a good year ahead. So I'm very grateful for this, because it's really my future and coming into my own and blossoming. And what's going on is that what I'm feeling, and then what's happening, fate is bringing to me these events of my life that are allowing me to evolve. That's it. I'll catch you later. If you want help with this, then you can just leave a message below, or to understand deeper details, or comment if you wish as well. And let me know where your Pluto is and where it's transiting, what house, because the house for me is my values and needs and my inner needs, and it's transforming me. That's what transmuting and birth, death, transformation, transmutation. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.